We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How is everybody tonight on this, what the hell fuck day it is? I don't even know. Tuesday, the 22nd. I'm still sick. I feel like better than yesterday, but still not 100%. But you know what? I'm back here because I could not do another night of just laying in my fucking bed and not talking to people. And oh my God, it was so bad yesterday. But be glad you weren't me because it was not fucking fun. It still not fun, but you know, I'm back. Gonna get through this week or at least the next couple days and enjoy my holiday and hopefully wake up tomorrow morning feeling 100% recovered. But again, everyone that reached out, thank you very much. I feel a lot better, but I'm still not 100%. But I'm back anyway because I can't not do this show, and especially with the guest that I have tonight. Because tonight, I have a band with me that has not released new music since 2014. And they are getting ready to release a brand new album coming up soon called The Handbook of the Recently Debriefed. Set to be released on January 29th, and they actually just released a title track off of this album. So I'm really, really stoked to talk to these guys tonight because they're just a badass band, and you guys should have the privilege of listening to them speak because I get the privilege of hearing them talk. So let's go ahead and do this. So without any further ado, please welcome from the band Counterpunch, Jared and Eric. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Not much, just trying not to die,
Yeah, I would also use that word privilege loosely.
For a band that's been around for a while, it's definitely privilege, especially for some hard rock guys like yourselves. I'm privileged any time I get to talk to, I don't care how big the band is,
Totally.
Sweet. Thank you. That's very nice.
So how's everything been going? I mean, this year's kind of sucked. But you guys have obviously found a way to pull together and make some new music and stuff like that. So how's things been going for you guys?
Good. Yeah, we actually recorded this material and the material that will be on the full length record that'll be out sometime next year, in August and September of 2019. So we got the final cuts and everything like 3 days after the pandemic started, and it was like 2 days later and we got locked down. So everything was kind of put on hold, and we sat on it for a little bit and kind of tried to figure out what we wanted to do with it, what we were going to do for this year, which ended up being we played a few acoustic live stream performances, which was totally different. We didn't even play a show this year, which was totally crazy for not even like a local show. So
that's not true. That's not true. There was just nobody there. It was just us playing music. But we played. The acoustic live show counts as a show.
We didn't play a live show like a live show that like normal. All right, if you want to get down to the nitty. But but yeah, as far as playing full band, all out normal Counterpunch, like that didn't happen this year. So it was really cool to be able to have those opportunities to do something different. And yeah, I think we're gonna do something with those acoustic tracks that we laid down in some of those performances, and actually do something like different for Counterpunch and put out maybe an acoustic record or something like that. It's coming up down the road too. So
you guys been sitting on this music for for over a year, and
yeah,
you've been sitting on the actual finished cuts since March. Damn.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you go back and forth, like sending mixes back, tinkering here and there, and we actually recorded in Denver with Chris Vogel at Black and Bloom Studios, and he had Paris come in like right after us, literally within 12 hours of us leaving. He had them in to start tracking the last album they just did, And
The bomb pops were in there before we were. So
yeah, so we got sandwiched in between a couple projects that had release dates that kind of took priority because we were just open ended with our release plan at that point. So it's
which
to
we
be
were
expected.
totally cool with.
Yeah, it's to be expected.
Yeah.
We knew what we were getting ourselves into. So it's more of like trying to find the right home, I guess, or right way to release this. And the pandemic kind of put a kibosh on getting that out in any kind of hurry because it's not like we could tour. So
Yeah. I mean, especially with, not having put anything out, now 6 years, I can understand the hesitation on not wanting to put it out without being able to tour.
Yeah, because that's basically all we've been doing the last 6 years is like our plan was to eventually go and record another record. Some of the songs we've been sitting on for a long time, and others were written in this, in a kind of newer span. But we just kept getting like really awesome opportunities to go on the road and tour with bands that were like dreams, like when we picked up instruments, so it was like we're just going to keep this thing going, and we keep logging in the songs in the journal and all that, and we finally had time to take some time off the road and pick the studio we wanted and really just like make the songs perfect for us.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. It's one of those things where if you have the opportunity to continue to live off of one album for 5 or 6 years, do it. If you're still making, the rounds and you're still living off of it, might as well make instead of just pumping out another album just for the sake of pumping out another album, take your time and make it the right way. And, that's obviously what you guys did. And, I've noticed a lot lately with a lot of bands that have done that, like, for example, Nothing More, another band, a band out of Austin, Texas. They came out with their first album or their first major release in like 2012 and then didn't put out another one until like 2017, 2018. And they just went back into the studio like a month ago to start doing their next one. So, if you can make it happen for yourselves. And obviously you guys were able to do that.
Mm-hmm. There were a lot of, from like a band perspective, there were a lot of places that aren't very easy for a band from Chicago to reach. And a lot of it's like the West Coast. So, I felt it was, in addition to being able to tour with all these awesome bands that we like idolized growing up and are huge influences on us and share the stage with those amazing humans, getting into those areas like Seattle, Portland, pretty much up and down California, Arizona, a lot of those places that a lot of the tours we were getting up until that point just wouldn't reach, or we would get, say, like the East Coast leg of a tour or, like the South leg of a tour, but it would never quite stretch us all the way to the West Coast. So it wasn't like intentional to continue to tour on Bruises, but it was the smart thing to do. It was just, we got to get out in front of people and, hit these cities and play some music. So.
And pay our van bill.
And pay our van bill. Yes. Got to pay the piper, the van piper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's if it worked out for you guys, that's the best way to do it. There's no two ways around it. Again, if you're, especially when you're trying to, create that national buzz for you guys, which obviously you have done, and now people are just, anxiously awaiting this next project album. And it's one of those things where people are, ready for it, and now that they can have it, I see the demand. People are ready.
I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they know what's going to happen to them. I don't think they know.
It's going to be intense, man.
You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Are you trying to say that this is going to be an extra heavy record?
No, it's kind of all over the place. We branched. I feel like we branched out in that direction, but we also branched out in a few other directions as well, musically. So, it'll be an interesting little journey.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've noticed in the last couple years, where not all bands, but some of my favorite bands have really kind of started breaking off from that typical genre that they've been associated with for so long. And now they're they're branching out and they're doing more than one genre within a metal in one album, and they're causing people to kind of create buzzes and stirs because for a long time, if you were metalcore, you were metalcore only. If you were punk, you were punk only. If you were death metal, you were death metal. And if you try to branch out at all, you get shit from from your current fans and the people you're trying to break fans into, and because metal fans are weird. But over the last few years, I've noticed a lot of bands, jumping ship and saying, "Fuck it, I'm going to make 10 different songs and have 10 different subgenres of metal in here, and I don't care who likes it. I'm making this metal, this music for me."
Well, that's what you should. I mean, from a creative person, like a creator perspective, that's what you should do. Is like, fuck the kids. Who cares? Like, I don't care what they think. I want to play what makes us happy, and if people are into it, cool. But we're not gonna write the same record over and over again. That's not fun for us.
No.
I mean, we definitely brought in some new blood too between the last record and this record. So having Kyle in the mix and like writing with him, and having another person that's like capable of doing some pretty heavy engineering, and he's a shredder and is an awesome dude. It just it just changed the vibe of the whole writing process. So a lot of that time between when we put out Bruises and now too, we kind of hit the reset button because we did have a good chunk of these songs pretty much written, and then we just kind of went back to square one and restarted and kind of rephrased and redid everything that we kind of already had done and got him in the fold. So that kind of pushed us in different directions as well, because you have another brain in the band writing music, and obviously we all have similar influences, but they're not identical. So
yeah, with Kyle, we're able to do a lot of things that we weren't able to do before on a lot of different fronts, and it's been awesome. And I think people are going to be really blown away by some of the performances on the record, and it's going to be new sounding. There's going to be like that thing that about Counterpunch that, like, if you listen to the band, you know that song that you like. There's going to be moments of that, but like there's going to be some different stuff on there too.
Yeah, and you guys saying that now gives me a whole new level of respect for you guys, because in a typical situation like that, and I'm saying not all the time, but when situations like this happen, after you have a bunch of songs already written, ready to go, and then a new person comes in the band, it's kind of like a hired gun situation for that first album. Hey, we've already got this ready to go. Just kind of deal with it. The next album you got, it's on you. But
yeah,
you guys went back to square one, and that is awesome. There's been a lot of times where people have just kind of jumped in and said, hey, this is pretty much already written. One of the biggest examples of that is Avenged Sevenfold with Nightmare. 90% of those songs were already written, with the exception of a couple, that they threw in there, to honor Rev. But they brought in Dave Portnoy and just, he just did the Rev's part because, the Rev, modeled everything that he played by just by him. And then they brought in Aaron, and Aaron just was, never mind. But anyway, that whole idea was, we've already had these, let's bring in somebody that sounds exactly like, the Rev, and let's go ahead and just kind of model that around it. And so I'm glad, that gives me a whole new level of respect for you guys that you did that like that.
Well, spending time on the road with, with Kyle and just kind of gelling, I mean, it happened pretty quickly. We had a situation where we just kind of had to find someone to fill in for a tour with Agent Orange in a very short time frame, and he stepped in and just killed it. So once he knew that was like a permanent thing, it was very easy to kind of look at each other and be like, I don't want you to feel like you're playing in a cover band. Let's put your stamp on it. Let's really just, let's do this again. Let's remake the soup, Yeah.
Yeah. The Agent Orange thing is, is a huge thing. I mean, they're one of the biggest, metal bands out there right now. I mean, hell, they even have a fucking song, that they're amazing. What was it like touring with them? Because you brought it up. I just wanted to, kind of get that real quick. I wasn't going to bring it up, but
they're old school, man. They're like one of the founders of skate punk, if not like, the the OG.
Yes, like
if you had to
surf
pick like a
punk.
top 5 surf punk, skate punk originators, I would throw them in that mix, and it was an experience. It was cool. I mean, we're obviously a lot younger than them,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like there was much of a, like a gap, if you will, between just like green room hangs and day-to-day operations. It wasn't like we were on the road with our uncle,
Yeah.
It was
They
just
had
like,
they had a really awesome merch guy with them, Skiba, and we basically stole him and when we were in Detroit and took him to a Tiger game on one of our days off on his birthday. And that guy was sweet. He's an old school California skater dude. Like I think he's a chef, and he was just like this total California slow talk, like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" Like just the coolest fucking guy ever. And yeah, we had a great time with the Agent Orange dudes.
Yeah, that had to be a experience of a lifetime. I mean, like you said, they're one of the originators of your genre. I mean, so you had to have taken a lot away from that and learned a lot from that, right?
I think you could.
Just being grateful to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's just sweet.
So, back to what we were talking about before. Again, the whole idea of going back to square one and rewriting that record, again, is a whole new level of respect because, again, so many bands don't do that. What was it like, having to go back from square one with a brand new member and having, your core members still intact and just kind of, how was that process like, especially, with stuff that was already kind of written and, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of an odd dynamic.
It is, and it isn't. I mean, the ability that Kyle has as a recording engineer and that kind of ear, having someone else in the band that had that capability, it was actually a lot more seamless, I think, than it would seem on the surface, because we can just go over to his house, lay down some demos, and just like plug through that song and tinker away as much as our heart desires before we actually get to bring it into a studio and lay down the official version of that song, little parts here and there changing, arrangement, stuff like that. I think it was the smartest thing we've done as a band, personally, just from just a personnel perspective, a player perspective, just an everything perspective. Kyle's awesome. So it wasn't hard,
Left out.
but we also weren't on any sort of deadline either. So it's not like we had to have a record done by X date. So I feel like it was in our best interest to just take some time, do it right.
Mm-hmm. So, crap, I had something in my head. Oh, that's the downside of still being sick. I lose thoughts. So it's kind of like having that long lost brother you haven't seen in 25 years, and you just kind of right away there was that immediate chemistry, is what you're saying.
But we've known Kyle for a long time too, because he was in a band called She Likes Todd.
Okay.
And we played tons of shows with them. It seems like every time we turn around, we'd be playing some divey shithole in Chicago together and just have a blast. So I've always been after his green Les Paul, where he had like it was a blue. It was like a maple, bird's eye maple blue Les Paul, and I was just like, that's the nicest Les Paul I've ever seen. Gimme. I'm gonna beat you up in the alley and take it, and then buy you breakfast because I feel bad.
That sounds beautiful. I wonder if I've ever seen anything like that.
It's pretty cool. It's like royal blue with a really nice like clear veneer. So it's just like natural wood tone and this beautiful, beautiful royal blue. Really sparkles on stage.
It does. It does. Okay, fantastic. So you sat on that record now for, like you said, pretty much a year, but more or less 9 months. Why did you decide to put it out now? Why didn't you wait a little bit longer until the pandemic had let up and you actually could schedule a tour?
Technically, we're putting out a 7-inch, so we're putting out 2 songs that didn't make the overall track listing of what will be the full length record.
Correct.
And originally the plan was get the record out, and then we have these extra songs left over. We can use them for comps. We can put out 7 inches. We can do splits. We can do whatever with. But considering the fact that we can't tour on it, things kind of flip flop. So it made more sense to just put a couple songs out now and hopefully give some people some things to listen to in the meantime.
You're like, hi, we're still a band. We're alive, and here's a new song.
No one died of the COVIDs. We're all still here. We have music for you.
So it's just a teaser.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. And I've talked to other bands.
It's like a whet your appetite for the full length.
Yeah, and I've talked to other bands who've done similar things too, who are sitting on a a full length album or a nice decent size EP, and they're like, let's go ahead and record a cover and let's put that out as a teaser, kind of put something out until we can get the full album out, which I firmly believe in. But at the same time, one of the common conversations that I've had on this show with pretty much every band I've ever had on the show, which is, I don't even know how many. In today's day and age, do you guys still see a need for a full-length album?
I think that just depends on how you want to express yourself.
How so?
I think that if you have a collection of songs and you feel like that's the medium that you want to put it out in, yeah, I mean, it's very common still. I don't know. I mean, unless I don't know where the question comes from.
Oh,
Like,
I can tell you the statement. So earlier this year, I think it was right around the beginning of the pandemic or right after, a very well known lead singer of a band came out and said that his particular band will no longer be putting out albums, only putting out singles, multiple times per year. And then I've also no, it was Ronnie Radke of Falling in Reverse.
Oh, okay.
But I've also talked to
I remember hearing this.
Yeah, but I've also talked to a bunch of other bands who said that they'd rather put out singles and EPs than full lengths as well. So it's one of those, in today's day and age where it's all about the playlist and, what works for you in that certain day, is putting out a full-length album, and, somebody waiting a full year, 2 years for something, other than waiting a couple months and getting a new single every couple months from you guys, with technology the way it is that really necessary? But at the same time, is it something that, kind of a hurry up and wait type situation too?
I think it's kind of comes down to how you as a listener digest your music, because that's a very subjective thing. Vinyl is so popular again that if you put out a 2-song vinyl every 3 months, it's like, all right, great, cool, let me just flip this record over after 3 minutes. It's annoying.
Yeah.
But the whole concept behind like an album too, from my perspective, and not like a concept album, but the flow, the journey from point A to point B. And if it's just instant gratification and here's your one song, I'll put out another song in a month, I can see both sides of it, but it really depends on how you as a listener digest your music. I think putting out full-length albums is still very important from that perspective, because I love getting that like super awesome variant and grabbing that clean piece of vinyl and putting it on my stereo system and going and like, just cooking or doing something around the house while that record is going, and like listening to, and maybe I'm a little introspective with it because I've, we've done that playlist ourselves, basically compiling it to make a record. So there's a reason that grouping of songs out of the bulk of the songs that we recorded made the cut, because from point A to point B, it's like this little roller coaster journey, and all the songs are in a particular order, or one song's after another because of reason A, B, or C, but it's all something that the artist, in this case us, wants to express to the listener.
Yeah.
So I see both sides for sure.
Though I agree, those ebbs and flows. Like I'm personally, like, I'm not a playlist listener. I'm an album listener. So like, and I prefer. I usually I have to drive a while to get to work, so I prefer, like, if I'm gonna listen to a record, I start it and I go all the way through. I'm not like a skipper or anything like that. And I like, that's how I just consume music. And I love the flow and the journey and the sonic, adventure that you go on. and that's something that I think that if a band like us did something like that, I think that we would uh probably lose out on a lot of the feel of what's happening by listening to our record, like our next record, the way that we've placed it and the order that we've placed it, and what A and what side B is and how that flows. So
Yeah, and I see both sides of the table as well. For me, at the same time though, I've also, since I do have like a, and I'm not saying, anyone else doesn't have this, as well. But I do have a, wide range of, the types of music I listen to as far as, rock. I'm very, you know, musically bigoted, I guess you could say. I don't listen to rock. I don't listen to anything outside the rock genre. But I do listen to a whole wide range of things, and I've seen so many bands that I used to just absolutely be in love with just put out a record for the sake of putting out a record and only had 2 or 3 good tracks on there, and then it just expect everyone to just absolutely love it, and that pisses me off. Like one of my former favorite bands of all time was Bullet for My Valentine. Their first few albums were fantastic, but then after Scream Aim Fire, it just kind of went like this, and now they were just a single band. We're gonna put out 2 or 3 singles on this album, and the rest of that 12-song album is just filler. And the 3 songs that were the singles were badass. But like off their last album, I only remember one good song of 12 songs, and it was like I can't even name the other songs on that album. But
maybe you've outgrown your artist.
I could have as well. Because I've also found myself getting into more, believe it or not, heavier stuff as I've gotten older too, which is kind of odd. But at the same time, Avenged is still my favorite band of all time. But Bullet has kind of fallen out for me. It's like, they were fantastic for a long time, but now they've just kind of gone away. But then like bands like Coheed and Cambria, who put out that fantastic concept record every couple of years where you have to listen to it cover to cover in order to understand it. And if you're a real true fan, you go out and buy the comic book along with it. Which I am because I'm that fucking nerd. But Claudio is a storyteller, and everything about what they do is fantastic. So I don't mind that. Or like when Shinedown put out a concept record a couple years ago, kind of were forced to listen to the whole thing. So concept records, I think, force you to put, effort into a full length album and really kind of do that. But at the same time, when you have a 5-year gap or 6-year gap like you guys have, or other bands choose to take that long to make a good record, that's what I think is missing. Because nowadays you have seen it to where bands just put out 5 albums in 5 years. I mean, hell, there's some rap artists that have put out 15 albums in 5 years. I mean, it's ridiculous how fast that it all comes together. And is it all really worth putting that time and effort into it if you're not going to put all that time and effort into it?
Yeah, I think the best part about this band is that we have no one telling us what to do, and we can just set and do things the way we want. So it's like worrying about putting out records and every year and all that kind of stuff. It's just like that's way above our pay grade.
I think personally that's the listener just gets tired of you too, because there's so much out there, and if you're constantly bombarding them with new material left and right, it's like they haven't even digested the last thing you put out, and you're already shoving more in their face. It's like you get fatigued. You get listening fatigued from the same artist if they just keep putting out in volume like that. To me.
No,
I'll drop off too. Like there's some of my favorite bands did that for a little while, and like I got bored of it. Like I wouldn't even pay attention to hey, there's a new release out by blah blah blah. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I'm still listening to the one they just put out 4 months ago, so I'm not really that stoked about another new thing because I'm still listening to this one.
Yeah. The only time I've ever had that happen where I've been excited about like back-to-back releases like that recently anyway was it 2014 2014, 2015, whatever year it was, when Stone Sour did House of Golden Bones 1 and 2. And they kind of told you it was coming, so you kind of expected it. But if it doesn't happen like that, to where they say, hey, this will be a 2-part album, expect it, but you just come out with something twice in a year, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing? Are these your B-side tracks?
Doing a 2-part album, Eric? Could you imagine?
Yeah, dude, you record it all at once, and then you just stagger the release. It's cool.
So you
get a bunch of peyote, you get a cabin in the woods, and you go and you record the fucking album. And you record like 73 songs. I mean, at least 20 of them got to be good, right? So you run out of peyote, you call it a day, you put out the first half, you put out the second half 2 months later, boom, Peyote Chronicles.
See that we wrote like 27 or so songs for this record, and we only recorded 16 of them. But now that you said that they put out that double album, I'm thinking, Eric, we might have done a disservice to all of our fans and by not recording all 30 songs.
That's not true, man. We just haven't. We're just spreading out the costs, for a small business, and we just haven't really announced the first and second yet. So the second's coming, guys. It's
Counterpunch, Use Your Illusion, Part 7 and 8.
Yeah, but and to be honest with you, I was going to already say that. I mean. In the rock genre, I mean, now I probably completely wrong here, but I don't remember very many double albums like that or double releases like that. Many of them.
I'm sure Danzig had a couple.
I obviously Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Would you count Load and Reload?
No.
Yeah, no. But I mean,
no.
like
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. So that was an actual double album, though.
That was a double album.
House and Golden Bones 1 and 2. But then I don't really remember any other. So I think then that was like 2014, 2015. So I think the rock genre is due for another double album. Why don't you guys be the first one to do it?
Yeah. Jared, get over here right now. We need to start working right now. I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm telling you.
It'd be great.
If you guys could pull it off, that would be fantastic. I mean, and you guys could pull it off. I mean, you guys are fantastic. So I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't do it.
The second album is actually a collection of 42 3-second songs.
Yeah, 3-second songs. That'd be sweet.
Going back to the heydays of Hatebreed there, where like they have 21-minute songs.
There you go. Like the Frenzel Rom album that has like little blips in between each actual song.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And nothing wrong with that either.
Now we just need to figure out a way to make like in the world of streaming to make that like you hit reverse and you rewind to the secret song on the CD, but on Spotify or whatever.
That Frenzel Rom Not So Tough Now did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do miss about with Spotify and everything else like that. I do miss the secret song. Like on the first Slipknot album, Eeyore, you had to continually listen past in order to get that song, or
Nirvana.
I mean, there were so many of them that they did it back in the day, and it was so fucking good, and that's a lost art.
Yeah, well, the technology's just not quite there yet. They're just trying to figure that
out. But you know what you did? Excuse me. You did bring up a good point though, especially with vinyls are making a comeback. I was at Walmart the other day, and there's a freaking vinyl section in Walmart now. The vinyl section is bigger than the CD section. It's fucking crazy.
It's great because I mean, when it comes down to it, and I'm not like a qualified audiophile to speak at any sort of scientific level, but from what I've heard from a lot of sound engineer friends and audiophile friends, it's like the human voice is analog. The second you digitize it and smush it, you're always trying to recapture that warmth by adding other elements into it digitally.
Correct.
So a clean piece of vinyl on a great system is always going to sound better than a smashed MP3 file or a file off of a CD. Any sort of actual piece of vinyl is going to sound much warmer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the listening to a vinyl or even a hell of an 8-track or a old back to the 80s cassette deck, those sound more live than anything else other than a live band. So I mean, it goes CD and MP3, and then those, the old analog ways, and then live. I mean, you get the realest sound that way, and that's always been a fact.
I kind of think it's come full circle though, because going from vinyl to, say, like that 8-track realm or the cassette realm or even the CD, they were always trying to capture the live sound as best as possible. But obviously you're not going to go into your car and throw a record on, So they had to find like that portability factor so you could digest and listen to whatever you want on the go. And I think that it's just like come full circle because people realize, I have the access to this in my pocket that I can listen to at any time. But if I really want to just crank this and hear it sound fucking amazing, it's going to be on the stereo system through this record player. But, you're obviously not going to take that on the road with you and take a ride.
No. Yeah. If did car designers even they were ever that stupid to try to put a record player inside of a car?
I wouldn't be surprised. Sure they have. I'm sure they have.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Like with 45s or something, you just like slide a 45 in the dash.
That would be
Imagine those scratches on the record.
Oh my God.
What was the movie where he's like G7 on the jukebox and he meant to play a totally different song and it's just like if you like pina coladas over and over again? What movie was that?
I'll never remember it.
I don't remember either.
Can you imagine being in your car and having like a 645 vinyl like cartridge and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. G7 and punch the little buttons on your dashboard like a little mini record player.
I remember my folks used to have one of those like 10 disc changers in the back of it was always located in the back of the car for some reason.
Yeah, the trunk, yeah.
Yeah. It's like cool.
I had one. I won't lie.
Yeah, nice.
I
mean, it was cool back in the day. I had a tape deck in my car, so it was like, whoa, you have fucking 10 CDs in your car? Awesome.
Yeah, I actually had my first car had a tape deck, and I got a tape stuck in there, and I had to listen to the same tape over and over and over and over and over again, or just listen to the radio.
What was it?
I think it if I remember, I think it was And Justice for All. To be honest with you, it was so.
It could be way, dude. Come on, it could be way worse. It could be like
I got Guttermouth Teriyaki Moto stuck in my car.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like. Fuck, how old? That was a long ass time ago. Holy shit. I'm fucking old. Yeah, that sucks. But yeah. So anyway, so going forward now that you got the you guys are planning on the release, unknown date. You have this 7-inch coming out soon. With the landscape of things, the vaccine starting to be distributed to frontline workers and teachers and everything else like that. Where do you guys hope in the next 6 months? Are we back to touring again? Or are we at least back to playing live shows again, at least locally? I mean, where do you guys think?
Realistically, and
2022.
Yeah, 2022. Realistically, the amount of time it's going to take for any of that to make enough of a difference for everyone to be able to get in a mosh pit together or like close quarters in a regular show, like how everyone remembers a regular show, it's going to take some time. I know Ticketmaster, I read this article like a month ago. Ticketmaster is going to be doing this thing, or it's a pilot program or something. It's like an idea that they put out to the media of checking everyone's vaccination status and able to be able to go to a show. And I was like, that's weird.
That is kind of weird.
That. But I mean, I see both sides. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, we can pack this venue to capacity if everyone theoretically has had the vaccine and they can prove it, or we can do like this 10% capacity outdoor show where everyone's sitting 20 feet from each other or something.
Or you at a drive-in movie theater.
Yeah, the drive-ins I think are definitely the wave of the future as far as. I think that's really cool. But then at the same time, I'm seeing a shit ton of tours and festivals being announced for Europe next year.
Yeah.
So what are they doing differently than us? Why can't we get on board in that? Yeah,
getting paid by their government to
do
stay
nothing
home.
and stay home and do the smart thing instead of being like, this mask is an infringement on my rights.
Yeah.
Good
There's
God.
still those types out there, but
Unfortunately,
I think that their sense of community is stronger out there, so they're kind of more of them are adhering to the stay-at-home orders and stuff like that.
yeah.
So,
There was one that was just announced today, and I have it here. It's announced for Spain. It's called Resurrection Fest. It's taking place in June. You know, Deftones, System of a Down, Korn, Sabaton, Opeth. You know, Bullet for My Valentine, ironically. Sepultura, Ginger. I mean, just the list goes on. Code Orange. You know, I mean, shit, Rise Against. You know, just Spirit Box. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's a 4-day event.
I mean, that's pretty much the lineup from that was supposed to happen this year.
Correct.
And they just kind of punted it a year in advance and hope that it's able to, you know, be a thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a lot of those festivals that are getting announced that got moved to the next year with essentially the same lineup.
Yeah, same thing with Aftershock.
It's such a, how do you predict what's going to happen in the next 6 months? You can't.
Yeah.
So you don't know if they'll actually move forward or if they're just announcing and crossing their fingers and hoping that they can pull it off, you know?
Yeah, just like Aftershock was announced last month with pretty much the same lineup that they were supposed to have this year, that they're going to have next year in Sacramento, with Metallica headlining 2 days, and I think My Chemical Romance is headlining another day, and Limp Bizkit is headlining another day. Which, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? But that's I reserve judgment.
It's their big comeback.
Are they allowed to get a comeback?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the cancel culture authority. I think if Lars brings the snare he used on Saint Anger though and plays that for that show both nights, I think COVID will just disappear. Because everyone's brain will explode because it sounds like he's hitting a garbage can. There's a chance. Fauci, get on it, dude. Snares for everybody.
Oh, fuck.
you got him, Eric.
Yes.
That was good.
I've listened to that record exactly one time, and I punished
in Washington
myself
D.C.
all the way through, and
on that traffic.
God, every fucking 10 seconds, I was just like, why? Who decided that was the drum? That was the snare he was going to play for the whole fucking record? Stick it, stop.
He decided that.
Well, that was a bad life choice.
He was also the same guy that said no bass in Injustice for All, but I digress. I remember reading an article, something he was like, "Yeah, I just wanted that, that natural sound like we had in '83." It's like that didn't sound anything like Kill 'Em All.
Yeah, I mean, just gonna throw this one out there that there were plenty of garbage can lids then and now that no one's played on an album, but come on, man. Someone at some point probably was like, "Hey, man, we're micing this thing up, and it's just not sounding good. Do you think you want to maybe switch?" And he's like, "No, this is the one, man. This makes me feel like '83 all over again, bro."
83.
83.
Awesome.
Do you know what that is, by the way?
Don't scare you. Don't even explain it.
I have to.
Please go right ahead.
So there's there's this local sports channel here, and I think Jared intentionally just muted us. He doesn't want to hear it.
I didn't mute you.
Oh, I heard a space bar. My bad.
That was me.
There's this guy
vaping.
Gotta mute the vapage.
Yep.
Get the fog machine going.
Exactly.
There's this super old guy sitting in a bar, and there's this like sports trivia show that just like shows up at bars and asks guys questions. People questions about whatever, and they can win cash. This guy sounded like he had smoked every cigarette made possibly in the last 40 years of his life. And they asked him a question, and his answer was like 83. And the local radio station here has used that all the time. Anytime someone says a number, it's like a little button they have that they just press it, and that guy's voice pops up and says 83 again. So it's really not as cool as it sounds, but 83 Nation.
I told you they'd let it go.
Jared,
I was curious.
Do you have any idea how many people are in the 83 Nation?
Asked and answered. I don't, Eric. How many?
83. You fell for it, stupid.
So let me ask you this, because you're wearing, a the Bears hat, So why do you think, No. It's music related, I promise. Why do you think the NFL and the MLB and everybody else this year has attempted to play a full season? When, and even with minor fans, college at least had the alumni section open, or they at least had the student section open, or whatever the case might be. Here in DC, the whatever the fuck they want to call themselves now, had some fans there and blah, 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 blah. Why do you think we haven't at least done something to where let's have a festival on, a giant fucking football field where only 1,000 people can come to at least, or something along those lines? You know what I'm saying? Why do you think we're not, at that, why do you think they're not investing in music and entertainment as much as they are with sports?
Because there's so much money in sports.
Yeah.
So much money. And billions and billions and billions of dollars, and
TV deals and
everything.
But the same goes for entertainment as well. I mean, because you got to think about movie.
It's a different monster, dude. That's a completely. It's I don't know. I personally can't. I don't think you can compare it. And straight up, the answer is because COVID. Because the virus is spreading. They don't have it. They're not going to put people in plastic cubes or circles and stuff like that. They're just, it's so risky, dude. There's just no way that they can, the liability for that shit. I don't know. They probably will now that there's a vaccines being, distributed, but
what's the band, the Push the Little Daisies and Make Them Come Up band? The name always escapes me, but that's how I associate that band with Beavis and Butthead and that song.
Is it Ween?
Ween. They did.
Oh yeah.
They did a show in Denver, and it was bubbles. Everyone had their own little bubble, and it was in a concert venue. It wasn't outdoors. So I saw a video of this, and I was like, that looks so claustrophobic and a total one thing goes wrong and everyone's dead because everyone gets trampled.
But that does sound bad.
But it looked cool because they were just sending big old balloons from the ceiling on top of these bubbles, and I
think it makes it's probably for the best that no one is doing that, because that's forcing another issue, trying to force people to decide between leaving their home and staying home and being safe. And it's probably best that they just don't push something like that. You can watch football on your TV. Yeah, that's cool. But right now you can get your live streams. It's working for some. It's a fun way to engage with fans in a very strange time. But I don't think any of us, at least I know on our side, we're not pushing to get out there and play shows until we know it's safe and the hospitals are okay and the people working in the hospitals are okay. And once we get there, then we'll talk about shows.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback on what he said. I mean, sports have the infrastructure and the $1 billion TV deals that it's already in place, and for the music side of things to be able to do that, you would have to build that infrastructure. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
People just digest sporting events as part of their daily life, and a concert is a special event that happens once a month in your town for this particular artist.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But at the same time, obviously, they didn't have the right infrastructure because how many games were canceled or postponed this year.
Totally.
Look at my team. As far as college goes, Ohio State. They're going to the national championship. I mean, it should be at least the college football playoffs with. Not on my show, sir.
I'm a Michigan fan.
Oh fuck!
And this is where the podcast ends. Click.
1 year of this show, and I have yet. God, I almost made it to a year. God damn it! See, you guys are just
blue baby.
See, y'all are just mad that y'all, See, you should be happy that you didn't get a chance to play us this year. Because it would have just been one more year.
I don't play. I don't play for the team. I just like whenever I get a chance to see them, I enjoy it. So.
Okay, well, I'm hardcore. Like I'm literally wearing Ohio State slippers right now. I mean,
that's awesome.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
H.
It's I am hardcore. I'm from Lorain, Ohio, right outside of Cleveland. I mean, I live and breathe.
We played that city. We played it. Did we play there?
Columbus? Yeah, a couple times.
Lorraine.
What's Lorraine?
That's where I grew up. Yeah.
It's just outside of Cleveland, right?
Just outside of Cleveland, literally right on Lake Erie.
No, I don't think we played there. We played Cleveland.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were still talking about Buckeyes and Columbus for a second there.
No,
I was like, we've definitely played Columbus a few times.
Yeah, I bleed scarlet and gray, man. I can't help it. But anyway, like I was saying, they're going to the CFP with only 6 games underneath their belt when
weird.
Alabama's going with 13, and it's like, they're
gonna get murdered.
Here's my fear. Here's my fear. We have never beat Clemson. Never. In the history of our team, we have never beat Clemson. And
really?
Nope, never once. The first time we ever played them was under Woody Hayes, and we lost that game. I believe it was a national championship game, if I'm not mistaken, or it was some type of championship game. And we lost, and then Woody Hayes ran out into the field and punched the fucking quarterback in the face and got fired the next day.
Wow.
And ever since then, we have never beat Clemson. So I believe it's kind of like, the Red Sox curse of the Bambino. It's the curse of Woody Hayes. We've never beat Clemson because of that.
But they broke that curse, and so the Cubs also broke the Billy Goat curse thing.
That's true.
So it's just you guys. Just you. It's all you.
We need to break that curse.
You need to break the Willie Hayes Mays curse or whatever his name was.
Woody Hayes. Woody Hayes.
Who?
Willie Mays Hayes from Major League.
Consequently, was also the formerly known as Indians baseball team. So there's that Cleveland connection again.
Has that been officially announced yet?
Yeah, they announced that they're changing the name. They don't have a destination as far as their actual nameage, but they are dropping the Indians.
Yeah, I knew that.
It should be called the Rocks.
Is Drew
Drew Carey?
Drew Carey gonna do like the Harry Carey? Oh my God, Drew Carey doing a Harry Carey style like 7th inning stretch? That'd be awesome.
Cleveland Rocks, dude.
That would be kind of awesome. No, they need to make it the Cleveland Rocks and like have Drew Carey as their mascot.
There you go.
But not like, new skinny Drew Carey.
It should
old
be
fat
the lady with the crazy hair, the crazy colored hair and the crazy makeup. It should be her.
Oh God, what was her name? Mimi. Mimi.
Yeah.
Yes.
on one condition.
She was awesome.
Like 7th inning stretch, she comes out with like a t-shirt gun, except it just shoots out sandwiches for melt.
Everyone gets pelted with the grilled cheese.
That'd be awesome. I would go to so many games. I would road trip at least once a week.
I would go for the stadium mustard.
There you go.
Oh.
We love Cleveland.
So do I. I haven't been back in such a long. I haven't been back there since. I haven't been back home since 2014. 2014. I need to go back home.
Yeah, been there since, and it is awesome.
Yeah, you need to road trip yourself to Cleveland, get yourself a melt sandwich, and then head over to Now That's Class and pick your favorite flavor of Mad Dog 2020.
Yes.
Which they serve at the bar, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Habanero lime, bro.
Woo. Actually, Wilhelm Scream, last time we played there with them, like on their tour rider specifically for that date, they put Mad Dog 2020 as like something they required in the green room, and it was hilarious. It was like a bucket of Mad Dog on ice.
My God.
Yeah,
That's an odd rider request.
Many mistakes were made that night. First of which was me chugging one of those Mad Dogs.
Yeah.
It was blue. That did not end well later for me.
Shout out to the Dirt Turkeys.
They're turkeys.
That's as bad as chugging a Four Locos.
Yeah, except your heart might explode if you do
Never
that.
done that. I've never had one of those.
Me neither. I don't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Jared, you've had Sparks.
I've had Spark before.
Yeah, it's like that's the OG Four Loko. That's the same thing.
Never had that either.
We drink a lot of that.
Ugh.
I'm a douchey IPA guy.
You're one
fine.
of those.
What's wrong
Yeah,
with that?
I'm one of those. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just one of those.
I believe the term is hophead.
A hophead.
Mhm.
I prefer douche because I'm kind of douchey about it too.
Well,
my pinky up and everything. It's like if I go to a brewery, if I go to a bar or a restaurant nearby that doesn't serve local, I don't even drink. I won't drink national brands anymore because like here where I live at in Northern Virginia, it's like it's the equivalent of like Seattle as far as microbreweries and just breweries.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
I mean, Dogfish Head is right there, right?
Dogfish Head is in Delaware, but
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
no, that's all part of it's part of what we call the DMV. So anything that's like Delaware, Maryland, or Virginia is fine by me. So we got Dogfish Head, we've got Flying Dog. Those are the two big ones nearby. But then
that's the one I always get the dog beers mixed up.
Yeah, Flying Dog is in Frederick, Maryland, and they're like 30 minutes north of me. And I go there. Well, I used to go there quite frequently, but that's one of my favorite breweries, hands down. They're fantastic. I actually have a 12-pack variety pack in my fridge waiting to be cracked open as soon as I get rid of this fucking virus.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, so like if I go to what was it? Last year for Slipknot Roadshow, it was Slipknot, Volbeat, Gojira, and somebody else. I can't remember who else it was. But anyway, so the local Budweiser distributor, has the contract for that for Jiffy Lube Live is what it is, and they only have like. The local Budweiser distributor only has one local brew that they distribute, and that's a company called Devil's Backbone, which is in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be drinking Devil's Backbone all night long. Well, I get there and they're out of it. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drink Pepsi all night. I would rather drink Pepsi than I would rather drink a Bud Light.
That was your silent protest.
That was a silent protest. And then all of a sudden they brought in a whole shit ton of kegs. And I was like, yeah, so I was able to drink. But, I would rather drink Pepsi all night long or Mountain Dew than drink a Bud Light.
Hold on. They tapped that keg as like right after it was delivered for you?
No, I got my first Pepsi. And then as I was leaving, I saw him bring in a bunch of kegs and we're delivering them to all the different posts. And I was like, it showed Devil's Backbone on it. And I was like, oh, fuck, let me go wait in line. I waited for them to tap the keg, and I had my Pepsi in one and my beer in the other. I was like, fuck it, let's do this.
That's funny. You're not really supposed to do that. You're supposed to let it sit for 12 hours in the cooler before you tap them because it's a bomb otherwise. Just so you know.
I don't know if it was sitting in a cooler around the back of the barn or whatever the case it was. All I know is that I was drinking it and I was happy.
There you go. Are you more of an East Coast IPA guy? Are you a hazy IPA guy? Are you a West Coast IPA guy?
I am a hazy IPA guy.
You moved on to the orange juice, huh?
But in some of them, there's not even any like actual fruit in there. It's the the combination of the hops and then this and then that. And it gives it that citrusy taste. I love that they're able to pull that off without even putting any real fruit in it, and I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean the hop resins when you get it real fresh, and the second that beer is like ready to go in a keg or in a bottle, the second it's ready to go, it starts deteriorating. So the fresher you get your IPA, the better.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, a lot of those weird resins and like secondary flavors out of the random hops they use give off that like mango, beautiful tropical citrus goodness, you know?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, and then you know, because I do like, you know, Dippas and Imperials and stuff like that as well. Don't get me wrong, because I love that bitter hoppiness flavor. But at the same time, you know, if I want a good, you know, strong beer, but want to be able to drink a bunch of them all night long, you know, going with a hazy IPA because you get the higher alcohol content, but with the lower bitterness factor, it's easier to drink.
It's delicious.
It is. It's fantastic. There's one out here called by a brewery named Solace, and it's called Lucy Juicy.
I've had Lucy Juicy. That's a good one.
Oh my god, so fucking good. They actually do use oranges in it, but still, it's fucking fantastic. I can't get enough of that one. That one's like 5 minutes away from up the street from my house.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I don't know how we got on beer, but hey, whatever.
Speaking of which, I need to grab another one. You mind if I step away to the refrigerator over here for a second?
Go right ahead.
Here, I'll put Justin Bieber in my place so you can hang out with him on the video.
Justin Bieber? Is there something that we need to know about Eric?
I always thought he had a Hannah Montana cardboard cutout. I didn't know anything about Justin Bieber. Or maybe I forgot about it.
Justin Bieber, the second worst thing to ever come out of Canada.
Oh yeah, there he is. You do have a cutout. They're nice.
For the listeners that are listening in their car on the ride on the way to work or on their way home, Eric literally has like a 5 foot tall, you know, boy. Not the grown man version, the boy version of Justin Bieber, like from baby days. I don't know if that's worse than the current Justin Bieber or what, but that's pretty bad.
He's a special guy. That's our Eric for you.
Hey, you know what? I mean, whatever keeps the band in line and keep you guys ticking. You know, if it's a Justin Bieber loving Eric, you know, or you know, I can't even think of anything else that's equivalent. But yeah, yeah. This is why, guys, you need to watch the videos on YouTube as well as listen to the podcast. You know, in the morning on your way to work because, you know, because funny weird shit happens live on the air sometimes, and even though this is pre-recorded, it's still weird and shit happens. and he said it was, you know, just the refrigerator just over there, and it's still not back yet. So hey, whatever.
Knowing Eric being the bartender that he is, he's probably making some crazy concoction. It's like you got to make a drink during a podcast, you know.
Yeah, you might as well make a sink it and drink it while you're at it. You know, might as well have some fun. You know, get a hazy IPA with some type of orange vodka liqueur, and just kind of go from there. And hey, whatever floats your boat.
I'll take a maker's mark and be happy with it.
You know what I think it was Saturday night when I went out. The shot that I did was a shot of Jameson, and I don't normally do whiskey. So if anything made me this sick, maybe it was the whiskey, even though it was only one fucking shot.
Don't ever blame the whiskey.
I'm not a whiskey guy. I am not a whiskey guy at all. I don't.
Some people are. I'm not a beer person. So
Yeah.
I like a shitty cold beer with a shot of Malort, and I like my Makers on the Rocks or Makers and Ginger Ale. And then if I'm at one of his bars, one of Eric's bars that he's working at, whatever he wants to throw at me because he makes some crazy drinks and they're always great.
Yeah.
Vodka soda. There you go. Delicious.
Vodka soda.
With a twist.
There was a time where I got so sick of people being like, I don't know, make me something. I don't know what I want. I'm like, all right, cool, vodka soda, fuck off. Next. It's like, what do you feel like making right now? A water here. What next?
It'll be $13.
Yeah.
15 with the COVID surcharge, sir.
Yeah.
And what's with your life-size cardboard cutout of Justin Bieber?
Oh, this has been sitting in my house for like 5 years. My friend Todd found it at an estate sale and just thought that I needed it for some reason. So, yeah, I have a life-size cutout of Justin Bieber that my dog. I have a 90-pound pit bull that when he sees this thing, he loses his fucking mind. He thinks it's like another person he hasn't met before in the house, and it won't react to him. So he just starts getting like. And this dog is like the biggest teddy bear on the planet. Like, he just wants to hang out with you and snore next to you. That's his deal. He sees Justin Bieber, he loses his mind.
Yeah, but it's like it's the the minor baby Justin Bieber, not even like the quasi man that he has become today.
Totally.
So it makes it a little even more creepy. Yeah, and at least it's not Justin Bieber's like only the second worst thing to ever come out of Canada. So at least it's not the worst thing to ever come out of Canada.
Ooh, what's the first?
Really? You don't know?
Yeah.
Nickelback.
I love Nickelback.
Oh man, see, you were my favorite because Jared's a Michigan fan, and now you like Nickelback. See,
You're the best thing to come out of Canada outside of poutine and hockey.
Alanis Morissette.
Well, that's ironic. Don't you think?
That's twice you've got me. Jesus Christ.
I'm just kidding. I hate Nickelback. I think they suck ass.
I've never met them. I'm sure they're nice guys.
But while we're on the subject, did you hear that Scott Stapp? Because I feel like Creed and Nickelback are basically the same band, just one's from Canada and a little bit more butt rocky than the other. Apparently he's playing Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, yeah.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
He's not even Italian. He's not even Italian.
I did it my way. My way.
Who's gonna play Dean Martin? Fucking Eddie Vedder.
God, I hope not. What a weird concept of like thinking about that guy playing Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Mario Lopez played Colonel Sanders in a love story on A&E.
I saw that. I didn't think that was real. Is that a thing?
It was.
I think it's real, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I don't have that channel, but if I did, I'd watch it.
Jared, you want to have a watch party?
Yeah, it'd be dope. I want to see Colonel Sanders fall in love.
Fucking weird.
How many fried chicken puns do you think happened throughout the movie?
I don't know.
If they don't do at least 10, it would be a waste. It would be a disservice to comedy.
Do you think they just winged it?
Say that was picture perfect.
What if his ladies from Nashville are like, girl, you Nashville hot. Ooh.
Nashville.
So the over under is 10, a 10 piece of chicken puns in that movie.
I would say at least 10, because I don't want to put too many in.
Oh, are you a Browns fan?
I am not.
Okay,
I follow the Browns, but I'm not a Browns fan. I'm not really an NFL guy.
nice.
I'm more of a I'm a college football guy through and through. So I follow teams that Buckeyes play on.
Okay.
So like I do watch the Washington football team for for Dwayne Haskins. I'll watch the Cowboys for Zeke and everybody else.
Yeah,
So
I'm not really a football guy
pretty
either,
cool.
but I like the Griswolds. I had to buy this hat when I saw it because it's the Clark W. Griswold hat that he wears in Christmas Vacation.
yes, it is. And plus it's still one of the greatest SNL sketches of all time.
Which one would that be?
The Bears, the one with Chris Farley and who else was in that damn sketch? I just remember Chris Farley in it. Who was in that one? Was
Norm,
it
George Wendt.
Norm from Cheers. George Wendt.
Yep. George Wendt was in it. Wasn't Dan Aykroyd in it as well, or one of the older cast too. I thought
Yeah, I don't.
Ah,
It
fuck.
was other cast members, but I don't remember.
that
their
was
names.
that was a funny ass sketch too. That one doesn't give the credit that it should have gotten.
Around here it did.
Yeah,
Around here, it
Yeah,
doesn't go
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
away. It's never gone away here.
Bears.
Now I do gotta say one thing though. Chicago's my favorite place to visit.
It's a
What
great
time
city.
of year?
Any time of year.
Huh. So you're
Uh,
diehard because like coming here in February, just that sucks.
So the first time I ever went there was what year was it? 2005? 2005 or 2006? I can't remember. It was WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania 22 at the Allstate Arena.
That's cool.
So I went and saw WrestleMania 22 there, and then I just fell in love with the city. And then I went back a few years later in 2008, 2009. The UFC was having tryouts for The Ultimate Fighter, and I went there for that. And then I've been back a couple times since then, just to visit. I love pizza, and Chicago style deep dish is the best fucking pizza in the world, second only to Chicago thin crust.
Tavern style, I like it.
Yes.
That's a bold statement because I think like 80% of the world would be like, I hate Chicago style pizza. It's like lasagna with a crust.
No, it's fucking delicious. So the second time that I was there, the time I went there for the UFC, I got knocked out in the second round, and I was a little bit bummed. So I just went to a local bar.
But did you get up again?
Huh?
Did you get up again?
I did, because you'll never keep me down. And then I was there, and I ordered a large pizza just for myself. I was like, fuck it. Even though I know I can only get through 2 pieces, I wanted to have it for, lunch, dinner, and then next day breakfast. So anyway,
We had to do it.
Ordered a pizza for ourselves, especially a large pizza.
So
Trust me.
yeah, so you know how to do it. So that's how I did it for myself, But anyway, so I'm sitting there drinking. It was in October as well. So I'm sitting there drinking Oktoberfest from Sam Adams, and I'm drinking, eating this pizza. But before all this happens, they brought me a thin crust, and I was like, I wanted a deep dish, and they're like, oh fuck, I'm so sorry, whatever, and they just leave it there and say, here, just have it. And as I'm doing this,
because it's going to be like 45 minutes before that other pizza gets cooked and out of the oven.
well, as I do that, this couple that was sitting next to me was like, hey, we were actually going to order a large thin pepperoni, and I go, here, just have this, and they're like, oh, well, thanks. And, they gave me a couple slices of it just to hold me over. And then my pie came out, and I ate that, and we were having a chit-chat, whatever. It was a local couple. Next thing I know, they fucking picked up my whole bill.
That's awesome.
I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's fucking cool. So I fell in love with the city at that point. I was like, this is great.
It's a Midwestern thing, like
It is.
People are just nicer here. It's. I mean, when you think about it, it's like a giant worldly city smack dab in the middle of a cornfield. So everyone's a little bit more like salt of the earth, a little bit more friendly, I think, than the East or West Coast, personally.
Yeah. I mean, I that's one of the reasons why I love Chicago so much, is because when I go there, it reminds me so much of home in Ohio. It's very culturally similar. My opinion. I mean, you guys might feel differently, but I do feel it's very culturally similar.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Where,
like Columbus and Cleveland compared to Chicago versus like Lima, Ohio, or Amherst or anything else like that. Smaller cities, not the same, obviously, but like the bigger cities.
Yeah, there's not too many Amish out here.
No. But my grandparents used to live. Well, they still do permanently live in Lima, Ohio. And there is tons of Amish country out there, and I used to hate getting stuck behind those fucking buggies because you were not allowed to pass them.
Yeah.
Oh,
But at least you can find some great furniture.
Yeah, at a 500% markup, those fucking...
Hey, man. Do you make furniture by hand? Do you know how much love goes into each one?
You know what? I can only imagine.
Not only their love, but their Lord's love.
Their
too.
Lord's love, too.
Exactly. I saw 5 Mennonites, like a family of Mennonites, like a month ago, actually, wandering about the city. It was very. I did a double take because you don't expect to see Amish or Mennonites like wandering about urban areas.
It could have been on Springer.
Rumspringa.
Yeah, Rumspringa.
Do you remember where you were having pizza? Which place?
I don't remember. It wasn't like a big. It was a bar. It was a restaurant / bar. But like it wasn't like any place that's like nationally known or anything. It wasn't like a, Uno or the other one.
There's so many.
Yeah, no.
Gino's East, Lou
Yeah.
Malnati.
Giordano's.
No,
Yeah,
no,
there's
no,
so
it
many.
was none. It was none of those.
I was about to judge you
No,
based on where you went.
no, I can't remember where I went.
That's also a very Midwestern thing.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Gino's East is one of my favorites though, and Lou Malnati's is one of my favorites. I've been to the original Unos. I've been to Duce's as well. See, I know that. See, most people don't know that there's two of the original.
Those are the original.
I know.
They're
Like-
they're connected by the back alley on
Yeah.
the same block, but they're like on opposite corners.
Yeah, and the first time I ever went to Uno's, I thought it was the weirdest thing ever because my fucking Ohio / Florida brain at the time, because I was living in Florida at the time, didn't realize what really went into making the original Uno. And you walk in and they're like, all right, what's your pizza order? All right, here's a pager. We'll page you in 45 minutes when it's ready and come back. You guys can go shopping over there at the Bed Bath & Beyond over there. Go over here to the Old Navy or whatever, and just come back in 45 minutes. It'll be ready. Oh,
Probably getting kickbacks from the shopping mall because that would be a very Chicago thing to do.
it was weird as shit. And then we come back in, and that place only holds like fucking 20 people.
Yeah, it's
fucking
tiny.
small as shit. So I understand why they opened up the Duce's right across the street. So, but no, like I said, I love your guys' city. It's I gotta come back. Damn it, now I want to come back. I want some good fucking
Hey, man.
pizza,
Come hang out. I'll
back.
take you around.
dude. I would do that in a fucking heartbeat.
We'll do a Chicago style pizza crawl and see how many places we get to before we die of a heart attack.
I'd like to see how many Chicago handshakes you can handle.
Okay, you need to tell them what that is because that doesn't sound right when you say it like that.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a shot of Malort and a beer.
Old style specifically.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Technically, if you want to get technical with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I might
Yeah.
die after 2 of those.
Well, with that attitude, come on. No
All
one
right,
likes a quitter.
all right, maybe 3.
And
Fuck.
in between rounds, you could get hot dogs, and then you can go get pizza for dessert.
That's another thing too, man. Fucking, Italian style beef or hot dogs, portillos. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ah.
There's some spots, man. That's another hot button issue when you ask people who has the best beef, Everyone's got their spot.
Yeah. I mean,
Johnny's.
see, I've
You're a
always,
Johnny's guy? Jared? But which
I like
Johnny?
it right now.
See-
The one on North.
Elmwood Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the OG. That's the good one, man.
see, I've only now this one I can only say I've only been to one. I've only been to Portillo's or Portillo's or whatever you want to fucking call it.
It's honestly, it's a good benchmark. It's a good
Yeah.
bar setter. There's place. It's always consistently good.
Yeah.
What you're getting. But I think I have to agree with Jared. Johnny's beef on Elmwood is like the beef, followed by a very close second to Al's beef and like Little Italy. And the only reason I say that is a lot of people hate on Al's beef because it's like it's franchised, but much like Uno's, like it's the original.
Yeah.
They're one of the few places that got grandfathered in Chicago to be able to cook over charcoal
Mhm.
indoors.
Yep.
So if you go there, they make their Italian beef or Italian sausages there,
Correct.
and they cook them over charcoal, and like that's the main spot that they make most of their stuff from. But going there and getting it, like the bread was baked, 2 doors down at D'Amato's Bakery. The giardiniera is sitting in jars in the back. The sausage is made there and then cooked over charcoal.
Yep.
It's one of the few places I'll actually get a combo beef where you have like the sausage in the bottom and then the Italian beef on top.
Mhm. So that sounds
Dangerous.
fucking delicious.
Sweet or hot? Sweet or hot peppers?
Hot, man, all the way.
See, I'm a sweet guy.
I'll do both, but I just need that little bit. I need that little bite,
Yeah, I enjoy the flavor of the sweet versus the heat. For me, I like flavorful heat, and sometimes if it's just hot for the sake of being hot, I'm not a big. I like flavorful heat. So yeah, so that's why I always go with the sweet peppers, with those types of sandwiches. But that's another thing too you brought up, the making of the sausage in Chicago, as far as like making sausage to go on your pizzas, especially. And I don't know if it's as hot button as I always thought it was, but particularly between Lou Malnati's and Uno's because of the rivalry there. Like, I've seen them like complain about, oh, you're not supposed to put fennel in a sausage, or you're supposed, don't, there's some like beef, like, and I use that for lack of a better term.
Yeah, man.
When it
That's
comes to
your
like
shit
the, all the different rivalries between the different foods and everything like that, it's like, no, you don't do that, do this. No, don't do that, do this, and it's crazy.
Italian sausage is kind of like, it's a family thing.
Yeah.
So every family has their own recipe, So there's not really a right or wrong answer. I like fennel seed in the Italian sausage. I feel like if it's not in there, you don't get that
Bite.
that weird like licoricey thing that like just sets off the rest of the flavors, the oregano and the garlic and everything that's in there.
Yep.
It's just like a flavor bomb at that point. If it's not in there, it's like you're missing something.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But that's just my opinion. And my neighbor's family recipe from his great grandma might be from a different region of Italy, and they just have different ingredients available to them back in the day. So it's like a different, everyone has their own kind of thing.
So now that we've effectively, the last 15, 20 minutes, turned this into a advertisement for why people should, visit Chicago on vacation.
Come see Counterpunch, get a hot dog, get a pizza, get a beef.
And get it all, because, and that's the beauty of Chicago that I don't think people will recognize enough is, it's called the second city for a reason. But in my opinion, it's definitely, I think it's more culturally sound than New York, but that's just my opinion.
It's cleaner.
It's cleaner.
We have alleys. We decided to put like garbage cans behind our building instead of being like, hey, you done with that shit? Throw it on the fucking sidewalk. Hey.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm always like weirded out about when I go to New York. It's just like, there's just garbage on the sidewalk and you're like, yo, that's where all the rats go. You know that, right? And it's like right in front of your building, right?
Yeah. But no, I firmly believe, Chicago is better than New York. I'm going to get shit for that for ages, but I've never said that on the show before, so I might get some hate. However, I have shit on
it's you saying it.
I have shit on the entire island of Long Island. So does that count?
I believe it's called
Big shit.
Long Island.
That is a big shit.
I've taken my ex-wife is from Long Island, so I take a giant shit on Long Island.
It kind of, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a turd just coming out of New York. Anyway, just like floating off into the water. So,
don't get me wrong. I love Manhattan. I do, but I think Chicago's better.
They both have their merits.
They do.
Every big city has like awesome things about it that you can find and pretty crappy things about it as well. Like for us here, I'm sure anyone that watches national media thinks like our city is just a giant war zone at all times.
Yeah. Which is
there's crappy areas everywhere. There's bad neighborhoods here, there's bad neighborhoods there. It's not like the entire city is like, oh my God, make sure you bring your bulletproof jumpsuit if you go to Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I found more exciting about New York versus than Chicago was I'm a big, obviously, video production and, type of guy. So being able to visit all the production studios and stuff like that on my New York pass, was really cool. I got to see a shooting of Saturday Night Live. I got to, go visit, NBC Rockefeller Studios and ABC and blah, 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 blah. I got to do all that. So that was the only thing that I thought was, missing from Chicago was that. But, that's New York's thing. You guys have your own thing.
You could come here, and they film a lot of TV shows and movies in Chicago.
Correct.
You could see Steve Harvey, I believe. That's a really great show. What else did they film? Judge Judy? No, they don't film Judge Judy.
Do they film Family Feud in Chicago?
No, I think Steve Harvey has his own like talk show that they film.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Jerry Springer.
I go like once a week. It's awesome. No, I'm just kidding. I've never been.
Is Jerry
I'd love to go.
Springer still on?
I don't think so, but they filmed it here forever, and tickets were always free.
They were.
So,
I went to Jenny Jones.
I went a bunch of times to Jerry Springer just because like the ridiculous parade of garbage humans they parade on that stage. Oh man, some good stuff.
Well,
slash embarrassingly sad stuff, depending on how you want to look at Americans in general.
Oh, yeah, embarrassingly sad. You know, Europeans watch that shit and go, "This is exactly why we don't go visit there."
Or they're like, road trip. And by road trip, I mean let's get on a plane.
The most obnoxious places in America. All right, let's go there.
Right.
But no, in all seriousness, you guys are badass, and you know I've listened to you guys for a while. I've never been able to see you guys live. I really want to see you guys live. So when you guys come back on this side of town, or
next time we're at that Rock and Roll Hotel, we'll hit you up.
Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But aside from all that, I cannot, I can't wait to see what this, the other song on the 7-inch is going to be, because the first song is badass. So I can't wait to see what the whole album is going to fucking sound like, because you hyped it up, a good amount there with, the amount of effort and production and, collaboration that you guys went into, especially with, with Kyle and everything like that. So, again, it sounds like, for lack of a better word, this is something that you guys put a lot of passion into. And that's what matters the most, especially, with 6 years or it'll be 7 years next year between, albums, it's going to be one of those things where, if you don't punch your fans in the face, they're going to be pissed off. And it sounds like you're not just going to punch them in the face. You're going to Superman punch them in the face. And that's what I think.
Counterpunch them.
Oh, fuck. I missed it. I missed it.
You were going to do that. Fuck.
I missed a perfect opportunity.
I was like,
all right, let's do it again. Come on, let's go.
Where you're not going to just fucking punch your fans in the face. You're going to counterpunch your fans in the face.
Fuck yeah.
See, I missed the fucking perfect fucking metaphor, and I fucked it up.
I think it's perfect. It's been like, hey, where's your new music? It's been 7 years, and they punch us, and then you're like, oh, here it is, Counterpunch.
There you go, perfect. Yeah, they're trying to Superman punch you to get you to release their music. You're like, no, fuck that, and yeah, you counterpunch. There you go. But either way, the 7-inch comes out January 27th, and 29th. My bad, I'm not looking at my phone.
It's all good.
I knew it was 20. Blah, blah, blah. But either way, look out for that, and then follow their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to find out when the actual whole album is going to be released next year. And hopefully, we can do something, next year, at least a local show or something, and get you guys playing music again like you guys deserve to be doing.
That would be rad.
But, Jared, Eric, I've had a fucking blast with you tonight. I am so glad that I'm feeling better and I was able to do this with you guys, because I needed this laugh, because after spending 2 days in my bed and 5 hours yesterday in the ER, I needed this. So thank you very much, guys. I really truly
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Hey, not a problem. So,
this is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up, but thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Take care, buddy.
You too now. All right, guys, and that's our show. Thank you very much for being here on a Tuesday. What a great fucking day it was. Those guys are badass. But until tomorrow, no guest tomorrow. I'm just going to kind of do an end of the year type of thank you show and come back for that. But yeah, so 2 dudes that were just fantastic. Definitely check them out. Again, their 7-inch is coming out January 29th, not the 27th, like I said earlier. So check that out. And like I said, follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All those links are in the bio of the video and of the podcast. But until tomorrow, stay happy, stay healthy. Unlike me. Don't get like me. And always stay fucking heavy. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.